Okay, so this new video talks about some operations on rational functions, okay? But before we start diving into this kind of question on the right, okay, let us start with the easier one on the left-hand side. So now let's say we start with this kind of question, okay? What do we do? In the first place, in this first bracket, okay, we break down the denominators in order to find what? To find the LCM, right? So what do we do? Break these into a product of prime factors, right? And in index notation, okay, like this. Okay, this is the first step. And what do we do on the right bracket here? Okay, in order for them to add together, okay, of course we always find the LCM. So for this one, up and bottom, we both multiply by 3. Okay, now what's gonna happen next is, now in order to find the LCM, okay, you have to compare, okay, that here, this one is 3 squared, and this is 3 times 7. So how do you find the LCM? The LCM would be, you taking everything, would be 3 squared times 7, right? Okay, so let's take a pause here. I'm gonna make this smaller here, okay? And let's go to our question here, okay? Now, in the world of polynomials, okay, now we talk about rational functions, okay? Basically, these are all rational functions, okay? So what do we do? Same thing. If you look at this bracket, okay, I have to put them into a product of prime factors. Now, in the world of polynomials, it becomes factorization, right? So I have to completely factorize them, okay? After I get the factors, and then we compare the two denominators, and we want to find LCM, and that is exactly what we did in the last section, finding LCM. Now this one is a minus 1 whole square. This one is a minus 1 times a plus 1. So what will be the LCM? It will be a minus 1 square times a plus 1 here, right? And for this term, because the denominator has to become this to include the a plus 1 term, and so the numerator has to always to also multiply by a plus 1. Okay, same for the second term here. Okay, this will be the new denominator, and in order to match it, okay, so we're missing the extra a minus 1, so that's why we have another a minus 1 here. And on this side here, okay, same thing, because we want to match them together, okay, and that's why I put the a minus 1 on top and bottom, okay, in order for these two things to add together. All right, so what will happen if we go back to the original one? Okay, the hardest part is done. Actually, the hardest part is this part, right? Okay, I'm going to move this here. Okay, the hardest part. And then what we do is we simplify it, okay? Simplify it. And now when we have a fraction times a fraction, okay? Oh, by the way, when you go from division to multiplication, you simply invert the fraction, okay? I hope you still remember this. Now, after you've done the simplification, you recognize the same factors here, just like what we did in primary school. Then we could take them out. Okay, then we know how to continue, right? So back again to our polynomial question. Okay, I'm going to put a line here just to separate these two. Okay, so this is the hardest part, finding the LCM by matching the factors. And then here, going from here to here, you invert the fraction, right? And don't forget, this is a minus in bracket a minus 1 here. Okay, so after you simplify the numerator, and then you see this also matches with this, right? And so these two cancels. Also these two. Okay, so at the end you're left with a 1 on the numerator and just say a minus 1 and a plus 1 here.